Hey everybody, and welcome back to the continuation of the Q&A. Sorry for the shitty quality. My phone that I usually film the videos on got overheated, so I'm now doing this off of my tablet. So it's a little bit, the quality is not the best, but I apologize. So we are going to touch on some kind of longer explanations to questions, and then I'm also going to throw in some fun ones just to loosen it up. So the continuation questions are, the first one is, did I make any resolutions for 2021? And if so, did I stick with them? Why or why not? For me personally, I tend to not do resolutions for myself. There was a time where I used to do, for example, like working out and going to the gym. And by doing those resolutions, I found put too much pressure on myself. So when I didn't meet those certain goals or that number of times where I was going to go to the gym or whatnot, I felt really disappointed in myself. Sorry, I'm plugging in my phone. And I found that I put too much pressure on myself to just, go through with all of that. For me, I set smaller goals, or like write down things that I want to do or accomplish like within, my lifetime, which sounds like a very large window of like times to make a goal. But I find that if I don't put like a continuous set of pressure on myself, that I do things with a lot more ease and a lot more like less stress is basically the best word to put it forth. Like for me, I went back to school without putting that pressure on myself of like, oh, you have to do this in this a certain amount of time. And I ended up getting the degrees and certifications that I needed to do other goals in my life, like start a business. And I just found that that was the most logical way for me to do it. Again, for everybody is different. Like a lot of people do set resolutions and they are comfortable with that. It just all depends on the person. For me, I just set small goals. The next question is, what advice can I give for going for G2? One thing is have the confidence, okay? And for sure have the experience behind you. So for me, I know I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I have in the past, and just learning from somebody that makes you comfortable and not give you like anxiety and makes you like freak out is the best way to go about it. The first time when I went through my G2, I learned from in a very stressed out environment, which was not good for me. For now, I know how to drive and all that stuff, but it's just good to refresh and whatnot and practice on things that I might not be 100% comfortable with. It's a lot more chill and relaxed. It's a fun environment, even though, driving is serious. It's not stressful. We talk, we hang out, we drive. It's not like very structured. And that's one way to learn so you're not putting too much pressure on yourself. For another thing is that was basically attached to the question is like, what can make you fail? Again, not having that confidence going in, for sure have that. Because if you don't have the confidence, remember, you are in control of the vehicle is not in control of you. It would, there's a chance that you can make a mistake. Also, not to freak you guys out though, the spectrum of testers that are giving you the test is very vast. So there's some very chill, easygoing instructors, and they'll be like, hey, you didn't kill us, good on you, you pass. Whereas my case, when I went, I got the most uptight instructor or tester that gave you no room to breathe and who failed me for literally making the right decision. So I was supposed to parallel park but there was a senior driver coming, and she was coming a little bit slow, and then she would speed up and then slow. So she wasn't far away, but I decided to wait on the side before I turned out and went back in to do the parallel park, and my instructor failed me for that, saying that I took too long to do the parallel park. But I did announce to him, there's an oncoming vehicle, I'm not going to have enough time, to do it safely. And he said, okay, that's a good thing. But then when I went forth and did those steps, he failed me. So, just be prepared for that. I really hope you guys get the chillaxed ones. But, eh, yes, that could happen. But, that's just my luck. My luck is I get challenged a lot. So there's that. Before we get into the more, one of the more heavier topics, or questions, I should say, let's do some fun questions. So one of the questions was, who was my first kind of like celebrity crush? You guys are gonna probably laugh at this, but honestly, my first celebrity crush was Wayne Rogers, and he played Dr. Trapper John McIntyre in MASH, the TV series. Yeah, when my family first introduced me to MASH, I was young, right? Well, not like super young, but yeah, he was my first crush. I saw him on the TV. I was like, okay. Uh, yeah, yeah, I know. I'm old school. Because I know he's passed on now, so goes to show you, like, damn, my taste. But yeah, he was my first celebrity crush. I mean, he's tall, blue eyes, curly hair, like, okay. Um, but yeah. And then there was another question. So that was for the male, and then there was also one for the female. And honestly, I have to say, from the same TV show, it would be Loretta Swift, and she played Hot Lips Houlihan in that series. And I at first I really like hated her character, but after seeing what she went through and all that stuff, hey, she was hot. Not gonna lie. Not going to lie. Okay. And then the next question is for Star Wars, because somebody saw my Instagram stories that I have a Star Wars book collection. What characters do I find most intriguing? So far, there's a lot. Not gonna lie. So I'm just gonna run down the list and we'll take it from there. I want to say Anakin Skywalker slash Darth Vader is a very interesting character. Reason being is, for the movies, for the prequels, for Anakin, I always thought, like, for the live action, he was a whiny bitch. I'm gonna just say it. Like, he just seemed very whiny. But I recently started getting into the Clone Wars animated series on Disney Plus. And just watching his character, he's a badass. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he's a pretty badass. There are some points that he's a little bit emotional, but who isn't? But you kind of like start watching that and you're just like, holy shit, like, how did he turn to the dark side? Like, in the movies you kind of see it coming, you're like, okay, he's a little bit woohoo. But yeah, see, watching the Clone Wars, it's a very intriguing storyline to watch Anakin turn into Vader and then Vader turn back into Anakin. And, when I first saw the original movies, listening to like kind of hints of like the backstory of Anakin and then just watching kind of the Clone War TV series, I understood it a lot better. Then there's Boba Fett. He is an interesting character. I know in the movies we kind of see him die, but since I read the books and most of the comics, I know that he didn't, and we do see him in the Mandalorian series. I know that's kind of a bit of spoiler alert, but I mean, it was broadcast everywhere on social media, so not too much. Uh, Interesting character. I want to say this is gonna be broad, but the clone troopers before they came the stormtroopers, the clone troopers, like in the animated series, um, is a very interesting story for all of them. There's a lot, there's a lot of clones that we follow and meet and stuff, but it is honestly a heartbreaking story to find out how they got turned into the stormtroopers. Um, and you're just like, that's sad. That is heartbreaking because you fall in love with these characters and you're there on the journey and then you find out what happened. You're like, oh god. Bring the waterworks. There's that. And then there's also the Bad Batch group, so Clone Force 99. They're also clones, but enhanced clones. So that's an interesting group of characters to follow through. I really enjoy where that show's going with those characters. Then there's Mando from the Mandalorian series. Really enjoy his character. Baby Yoda too, because I know he has another name, but he's always gonna be Baby Yoda to me. Sorry. Um, yeah, I mean, there's so many characters, sorry. There's so many characters. There's Ahsoka, really enjoy her character. She's a badass. Um, there's R2D2, love him. He's a badass too. Princess Leia, yeah, she's a badass. I really didn't connect with her character. I don't know why. I don't know why. But I don't know. I just didn't really connect with her character, unfortunately. Those Luke Skywalker, really enjoy his character. Those two fucking things, those legends and those canon now, very two different storylines for those characters. That character, I should say. Um, but yeah, that's an interesting character to get into too. I mean, I'm ass deep in the Star world right now, so it's a very interesting thing to get involved in. Um, okay, now on to a heavier um topic. So, basically, what is a manipulator? Now, this can go very there's different levels and different stages to being a manipulator. Of course, there's the, kind of childlike manipulator, like how little kids like tend to talk in doing things. That's a little bit of a manipulator, but that's not too bad. Like, you kind of like, oh, those cute faces, you can't say no to them. Right? Then there's the heavier manipulator, which tends to usually fall within a type of abusive relationship, unfortunately. um for me, I went through many stages of a manipulator in my abusive relationship. But they tend to make you feel bad. I'm not gonna lie, they tend to make it your fault, especially in a physical abuse or sexual abuse. Um, they kind of blame you for why they hit you or why they did this or why they did that. It's your fault. They make you believe it's your fault. If you were a better person or you were a better girlfriend, then they wouldn't have to hit you, type of thing, or they wouldn't have to talk down to you or like treat you like crap. You're the one that did it yourself. You're doing this to yourself. And that can play on you. And at first, you're kind of just like, oh, hey, like, tell them to fuck off, right? Basically. But after a time where you get beat down and worn down to the point where you honestly just start believing that it's your fault, that you will do anything to make your abuser happy so they don't make you feel like you deserve the punishment. Um, that's basically kind of a simple way to explain it. Again, it sounds very easy to tell them to F off, but when you get beaten down to the point where you just start believing it. There was a point in my relationship, well, my abusive situation, that, yeah, for the longest time, I honestly thought it was my fault, especially because I was not only hearing it from my abusers, but I was also hearing it from the school. So imagine hearing from your abusers that it's your fault, that you looked the wrong way, or you looked at somebody because they were talking to you and you got beat for that. And it's like, well, you shouldn't have done that type of thing, you know? It's your fault I had to do this. You were such a slut, or blah, blah, blah. And then you, you know, you get suspended for doing almost the exact same thing, having a conversation with a human being, but apparently that looks suspicious to my exes. I say exes, but it's like an ex and his fucking friends. Um, and they make you feel like you can't have a conversation with another human being without making them feel like, oh, I'm making them jealous, or they don't like that feeling that I'm talking to another human being. And I get told that, you know, I'm either a disgusting human being, I'm being a slut, I'm being, you know, a drama queen, I'm a attention-seeking whore, um, for just having a conversation with a human being. So I got it from both ass ends of the spectrum, which was absolutely devastating and very, very hard to deal with. And, you know, that's how, you know, I don't want to say how, but a lot of people say, oh, it would be so easy to walk out of an abusive relationship. But when you have been manipulated into believing that it's your fault, that you can't exist without this other human being, that you're nothing without them, you believe that. You start to believe that. And you start to believe that there are worse things out there than them, because that is what they believe, that they make you believe in. And then for me, you know, when I'm having the adults in my life telling me basically that I'm, you know, this horrible human being, you're just like, well, fuck, it must be my fault because the outside world is telling me and the inside world is telling me that, right? And it's very hard to detach yourself from all of that manipulating and manipulation. And when you finally take that breath of fresh air and you realize that, fuck, I've been manipulated, right? That, like, this isn't true. It is the most scariest thing to get out of that situation, get to a safe place, and then realize, holy fuck, I got nothing in my life. Everything evolved around them. Oh, how the fuck do I exist now? Because they have manipulated you so hard that you eat, live, and breathe them. And I know that sounds very, like, crazy, but that's how that gets. So you basically have to relive and learn about yourself. And learn to, like, just love yourself and, like, trust yourself. You know? Like, the simple tasks of picking out clothes for yourself. That will make you feel good. Not somebody else. You personally. And your style might change. You know, your hairstyle might change. Who you are might change. But you become this new person because they created this other person. That's not you. But you didn't feel like you had a choice. And it is very, very, honestly, such a scary situation. And if you guys want to hear more about this, feel free to drop that in the comments and I can go into a larger discussion about this, but I don't want to, like, you know, drag it on for too long in this video because this is a Q&A, right? So there's other questions. But yeah, if you guys want to definitely hear more about that, then For sure leave that in the comments, and that will be another video. I'm also going to be doing, you know, some more true crime and a video about OCD and some other stuff, so that's coming too. Okay. On to another fun question. Somebody commented they noticed that my room is a purple. You know, is that one of my favorite colors? Yes, yes it is. Yes, yes, that and purple. At one time or another, my room used to be pink, okay? It wasn't my most favorite color, but I lived in a pink room for a very long time. That's just what the color of the room was when we moved into this house. But yeah, then eventually, like, I painted it, and then I, you know, moved out, and then for family situation, I had to come back. And plus COVID and shit, and, you know, there's just a whole other fucking thing. But, you know, helping out the family and stuff. So yes, I'm back in my purple room. Hi. Yay. That adult life. But yeah. Where is one place in Canada that I want to travel that I haven't traveled? I would definitely say Newfoundland. That is one place I really, really want to go. I just, surprisingly, I have never been there, but from what I heard from my aunt when she told me stories and my parents and stuff, like, it is a very beautiful place, and I really, really want to go there after COVID, of course. But yeah, that's one place I do really want to travel. Anyways, guys, this was another long Q&A video, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is, you know, I love doing Q&As because it's so interesting to hear the questions that you guys have, and then kind of like have my opinions and actually have me think of them, like be like, hey, this is interesting, like having things that, excuse me, I haven't thought about for a while. So there's that. That's I have fun doing these, guys. But anyways, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Remember, never give up, always keep fighting. You're enough and you're very much loved. And I will be back soon with another video. Until then, guys, stay safe. Love you guys.